Hello everyone, and welcome back to your trusted daily government and financial news update. As always, I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on everything, so make sure to give this video a like, but also leave a comment giving your thoughts on everything that is currently going on. Okay, so with a weakening economy and massive inflation, it seems as if President Biden has been dodging questions from the press, or at the very least, very selective with who he takes questions from. So, for example, instead of taking numerous questions from actual reporters, he'll only really sit down with liberal late-night TV show hosts such as Jimmy Kimmel.
Why have you stopped taking questions from the press? What are you afraid of?
Another question he chose to ignore is why he failed to sanction the former corrupt mayor of Russia who just happened to do business with his son.
Who did business with your son.
Again, no answer. To clear things up, Hunter Biden received $3.5 million from her in 2014. So why exactly did he receive over $3 million from her, and why is she getting preferential treatment? Your guess is just as good as mine. Now, President Biden did hold an Oval Office interview with the Associated Press on Thursday, where he said that Americans are really down and that we are all really just mentally unwell. Perhaps that's another reason he believes he's not all that popular. We're just not mentally well. During the interview, Biden also said that he's never broken a promise, which, gee, for one, how about not leaving any Americans behind in Afghanistan? And I'm sure we can all remember the numerous promises that he made and failed to actually deliver on before coming into office. The president also said that going into a recession was not a certainty and that the claims by Republicans are just bizarre that last year's spending is to blame for the 40-year high inflation. Biden continued making false claims, stating that inflation is higher around the rest of the world than what it is here in the United States. In reality, the United States has actually had one of the highest inflation rates out of the countries that we actually have data from. But of course, while most Americans just want affordable gas and groceries, and parents are worried about where they can actually find baby formula from with all of the empty shelves, Democrats don't care and instead put their main focus on the grand evils of January 6th. And so, during Nancy Pelosi's very legitimate January 6th committee, she played a clip of Al Gore as evidence that he accepted the results of the 2000 election. And this was a bad attempt to make a point that by Donald Trump not accepting the results, he was somehow also responsible for the people who entered the Capitol building on January 6th and have since been charged and arrested. Of course, I can finally remember Al Gore. Actually, well, let's just say that he wasn't so accepting of the results.
So when the sea levels rise, obviously we could lose, like Venice. We could lose Florida.
Yeah,
And who would know better about losing Florida?
Actually, I think I carried Florida.
So while Democrats are focused on the real issues this country is facing like January 6th, President Biden plans on heading off to his Delaware beach house this weekend, where he'll spend the 4th straight weekend there. And by the way, for spending so much time on the topic of January 6th and this whole preserving democracy from the evils of the Republican Party, Americans sure aren't buying into it. From a recent Fox News poll, Republicans are actually winning the topic of preservation of American democracy by a slim margin of 46% of voters. You would think that would really cause some heads to explode. Perhaps the White House will have to look to Kamala Harris's new online policy task force or Biden's Ministry of Truth to clear up what they probably just consider to be false claims.
Well, the internet is an essential part of life in the 21st century. Can't get around it. Can't get around without it.
Of course, does anyone in the White House actually know what the difference between these two are? Karine Jean-Pierre sure doesn't have a clue.
The first one on the online policy task force that the Vice President's leading, that's getting kicked off today. On a background call last night, we were told that it's going to be different from the Disinformation Governance Board in that it's going to focus on illegal conduct online. but the memo creating it was a little bit broader and mentioned, and I'm quoting from the document, quote, online harassment, abuse, and disinformation campaigns targeting women and LGBTQI plus individuals who are public and political figures. Could you clear up the disinformation charge?
So I would need to talk to her team. I was not on the background call, so that specific language that you're providing to me, I would just have to check in with her. I would also encourage you to check as well with her team. I can't say more because I wasn't on the background call.
Jean-Pierre was also asked about baby formula and when we could potentially see the shelves full once again.
Baby formula. Back on May 22nd, Secretary Vilsack said that an abatement of the shortage will be seen within the next 30 days. We're coming up on that 30-day mark. You guys keep announcing regular announcements of these flights that are coming over, millions of bottles worth of formula. But when are American families going to see, this situation resolved, an actual progress where the shelves are full once again, and this problem go away?
So, as you know, the president has made this a priority, right? He has used his authorities to make sure that we can do everything we can to help get baby formula on the shelves, and that's what he's done with the DPA that he authorized, which has helped. And I can say that we announced the 7th Operation Fly formula mission.
So apparently the president has used his authorities to make sure they can do everything they can to help get baby formula back on the shelves. But of course, store shelves are still empty. This should be one of the real concerns, of course, not January 6th. When asked about the Federal Reserve's weak predicted GDP growth over the next 2 years, Biden's press secretary believes we're just simply in a transition right now.
Yeah, thanks, Green. So the Federal Reserve is predicting that GDP growth for the next 2 years will be 1.7%, under 2%, under 2% for the next 3 years. So is this what the president considers stable and steady growth?
What I can tell you is that we believe that we are in a transition right now, coming out of a economic recovery, a historic economic recovery, because of the work that the president has done this past year and a half. And so we believe that we'll be in that transition. We're going into that transition of stable and steady growth, and we're going to continue to do the work that the president has laid out to lower inflation. And so part of that is letting the Federal Reserve do their part, they have the strongest monetary policies to really deal with this. We're not going to speak to that. We're going to let them be independent. But the way that we're seeing this is we are on a track to have that transition to be in that stable growth.
Yeah, we sure are going through a transition, just not a very good one. With gas prices surging past an average of $5 per gallon, Jean-Pierre said the U.S. is going to continue moving forward with their clean energy initiatives.
To do. Drill more here in the U.S. though.
Because we don't need to do that. What we need them to do is, with the oil that's out there, we need them to refine that oil so that the capacity could go up and then prices would go down, inherently go down.
And so I know the president once said that he was going to end fossil fuel. Is that now off the table?
No, we are going to continue to move forward with our clean energy proposal, our climate change proposal.
In other words, nope, we really don't care about you having to pay more than double at the pump. After all, it's your fault for not being able to afford a $60,000 electric vehicle. Now, in some money news, stocks once again took a huge tumble yesterday as the S&P 500 dropped by 3.25% and year-to-date is now down by 23.55%. The NASDAQ dropped significantly more, down over 4% yesterday, and is now down over 32% year-to-date. Bitcoin continues to show resistance at around $20,000 per coin, but has still dropped off quite a bit over the last week by a whopping 30%. And year-to-date, Bitcoin is down over 55%. So things aren't looking too good, and even though we probably will see a good rebound today in the market, we're likely to really only see the market continue to decrease over the next few months, with Americans having less and less discretionary income to invest and a real possibility of an upcoming recession. Of course, at the same time, this does present a pretty good opportunity to continue dollar cost averaging in Or in other words, buying the dip slowly, as these are actually some pretty good discounted prices. For example, for a share of Apple was around $175 to $180. Right now, Apple is only around $130, so you're getting a pretty good discount on a lot of these stocks. Now, if you haven't yet started investing or you would simply like to beef up your stock portfolio, Webull is still partnering up with me to give my viewers 6 free stocks, which are possibly valued over $13,000 if you open an account using my link and deposit as little as 1 penny. Now, this link I will leave in the first pinned comment, and I'll also post it in the description box as well. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you enjoyed the content in today's video and you would like to see more videos like it, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and also ring the notification bell. That way you will be the first to be notified when I do release future videos. And until next time, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.